Welcome to the news on Enyimba TV. We are reaching you from the commercial city of Aba. First, the headlines. Geometric promises to resolve gas constraint to turbine issue within a month. Federal government gives businesses 1 month deadline to reduce prices. And federal government slams no work, no pay on striking resident doctors. Thanks for joining us on the news at this time. I am Mary Ihejirika. Now the news in detail. Abbey-born cleric Bishop Silas Eke has expressed doubts about Governor Rale's OT statement of currently constructing 41 kilometers Arochukwu-Ohafia Road. Enyimba TV recalls that the governor had recently launched the construction project, accusing past officials of neglecting the road's reconstruction. Bishop Eke, in a conversation with newsmen, argued against Governor Oti's claims, while crediting the original construction of the Arochukwu-Ohafia Road to two prominent Arochukwu natives, Dr. Ikoku and Mr. Achinivu, instead of Dr. Obara. The cleric questioned the discrepancies in the governor's statement regarding the length of the road being reconstructed, noting that while Governor Oti claimed it was 41.1 kilometers, his commissioner stated it was 44 kilometers. President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for Beijing, China for an official visit. According to a statement from his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, the president's trip includes a brief stopover in the United Arab Emirates before arriving in China. There he will meet with President Xi Jinping to discuss cooperation between the two nations. Additionally, on the sidelines of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, President Tinubu will hold meetings with Chinese business leaders to promote investment and trade between Nigeria and China. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission is announcing a 1 month moratorium for traders and other market stakeholders engaged in exploitative pricing to reduce the prices of goods. Tunji Bello, the newly appointed executive vice chairman of the commission, made this announcement at a one-day stakeholder engagement on exploitative pricing in Abuja. He stated that the commission will begin enforcement after the moratorium ends. Bello highlighted that the meeting's purpose was to address the rising trend of unreasonable pricing of consumer goods and services and the unethical practices of market associations. Federal government has approved a 50% electricity subsidy for public hospitals across the country. This was announced by the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Tunji Alausa, at the National Neuropsychiatric Hospital in Banawa, Kaduna State. Alausa mentioned that this initiative aims to reduce operating costs for public hospitals and ease the financial burden on patients. He also announced plans to rename federal hospitals as specialist hospitals to enhance health care service delivery. Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has expressed disappointment over the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors (NAD) decision to embark on a 7-day warning strike, despite the federal government's efforts to resolve its concerns and maintain industrial harmony. In a statement by the ministry spokesman Adobako, the federal government invoked the no work, no pay policy for the duration of the strike in accordance with existing labor laws. Bako noted that this measure is not intended to undermine the legitimate concerns of medical professionals, but to ensure that essential healthcare services are not unduly disrupted to the detriment of the public. The resident doctors are striking to demand the release of a Kaduna-based doctor, Ganiyat Bobolo, who has been held captive by kidnappers for over 8 months. President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, Joe Ajero, is describing the labor movement as the most patriotic organization in the country, vowing that the union will not compromise its patriotism no matter the challenges it faces. Ajero made these remarks while addressing a crowd of labor members who gathered at the NLC headquarters to welcome him after he honored a police invitation. He described the police invitation as one of the hazards of being a labor leader. recalling a time during the 1990s under the late former head of state, General Sani Abacha, when he was detained. Earlier, a lawyer from Femi Falana Chambers, Maxwell Opara, assured that there was no cause for alarm, explaining that the police had merely asked Ajero to provide some information about a tenant occupying an office in the NLC headquarters. The NLC leader was invited by the Nigeria Police Force to answer questions regarding alleged involvement in terrorism financing, cybercrime, subversion, criminal conspiracy, and treasonable felony. Meanwhile, Enyimba State chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress joined their counterparts nationwide in staging a peaceful procession in solidarity with the national president of the union, Comrade Joe Ajero, who was invited by the Nigeria police over alleged terrorism charges. The procession also included a prayer session at the police headquarters. The Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Chris Okoro, who received the NLC members on behalf of the Commissioner of Police at the police headquarters in Umuahia, commended them for their peaceful protest and urged them not to allow miscreants to hijack the procession and prayers. NLC members marched along major roads in Umuahia carrying placards with inscriptions such as "Please leave Comrade Ajero alone" and "Face insecurity in the country." "Detain Ajero and Labour will shut down the country," and "Labour is fighting for the welfare of workers in the country." Newly sworn-in president of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, Afam Osigwe, is promising that the association will hold government at all levels accountable during his tenure. He gave these assurances while delivering his inaugural speech at the inauguration ceremony of the 32nd President and National Officers of the NBA in Lagos. Osigwe, a senior advocate of Nigeria, says the association will also work towards ensuring that government's policies and programs meet the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians in terms of provision of good governance, transparency in financial expenditures, drastically reducing the cost of governance, and ensuring that the welfare of our people is given topmost priority. Military High Command has reported that at least 1,166 terrorists have been killed through bullets and aerial bombardments in their numerous hideouts across all theaters of operations following a coordinated military offensive against them in August alone. This was disclosed by Major General Edward Buba, the Director of Defense Media Operations, during a briefing with journalists in Abuja. Additionally, 1,096 terrorists were taken into custody. Over 2,741 Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP fighters and their families surrendered to the troops of Joint Task Force Operations Hadi Kai, and 721 kidnapped hostages were rescued. Meanwhile, Defense Headquarters DHQ says the federal government will liaise with the European Union EU to take necessary action against Simon Ekpa. 7 Polish nationals who were arrested for allegedly waving Russian flags during the #EndBadGovernance protest in Kano have been released. They were detained by the Department of State Services (DSS) on August 5, 2024 for their alleged suspicious role in protests against government policies and economic hardship. Poland's Deputy Foreign Minister Andrzej Zedna, however, said that the individuals are 6 students and their lecturer from the University of Warsaw who were in Nigeria for an African Studies exchange program at Bayero University in Kano. Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs Radzisz Sikorski confirmed their release in a social media post. Ahead of the Edo State governorship election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has announced that the signing of the peace accord will take place on September 12, 2024 in Benin City. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu made this announcement during a meeting with political parties in Abuja. He also stated that a mock accreditation exercise will be conducted on September 10 to test the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAS) and the uploading of results. The signing of the peace accord, organized in collaboration with the National Peace Committee, aims to ensure a peaceful and credible electoral process with just 22 days remaining until the election on September 21, 2024. INEC has completed 10 out of 13 planned activities. Chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC in Edo State, Jared Tinubu, has criticized Governor Godwin Obaseki's administration, accusing the governor of leading the state into poverty and poor governance. Tinubu, during a television interview, defended the decision of the APC gubernatorial candidate Monday Okpobolo to avoid media interviews ahead of the upcoming Edo State general elections. He argued that resident financial hardship, which he attributed to Obaseki's governance, have made it difficult for many to afford services like cable TV to watch such interviews. Tinubu emphasized that Okpobolo prioritizes grassroots engagement over media appearances. Enugu State Governor Peter Mba has inaugurated a committee to oversee the implementation of the new national minimum wage in the state. The committee is chaired by the head of service, Kenneth Ugu, with Sandra George, a representative from the office of the Secretary to State Government, serving as Secretary. The governor has given the committee a maximum of 1 month to submit its report. He advised the committee to consult widely with relevant stakeholders, particularly ministries, departments, and agencies, to ensure that workers take ownership of the final report. Governor Mba reiterated his commitment to workers' welfare. You're watching Enyimba TV News. After the short break, the news continues with the lead story of the day, in addition to business and sports update. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned. Now the lead story. Geometric Power has expressed concerns over the acute shortage of natural gas supply to its 188 megawatt plant located in the Osisioma Industrial Estate in Aba, Abia State. The company noted that this shortage is affecting the state's economic growth. Ugo Obebe, managing director of Aba Power, Geometric Power's embedded firm, revealed this in a statement to newsmen. The company reported that the Aba ring phase requires about 90 megawatts, which can be generated from the two of its three installed turbines, each with a capacity of 47 megawatts. Geometric Power, however, said the company is actively working to resolve the gas supply issues and aims to secure a more reliable source of gas for the power plant within a month. And on business, Nigeria, through the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), has officially granted operational approvals to several crypto operators, indicating an acceptance of the digital currency. The Commission announced that it had granted approval in principle to 2 digital asset exchanges to begin operations under its Accelerated Regulatory Incubation Program, ARIP. 5 firms were also admitted to test their models and technology under its regulatory incubation program. This latest development follows a recent announcement by Zach Adedeji, chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, that the government is drafting an executive bill to overhaul revenue administration, including regulating the cryptocurrency industry. And on sports, Nigeria's female basketball team, the Tigress, have been placed 8th in the world in the latest FIBA rankings. In the list released by the World Basketball Governing Body, the 6-time AfroBasket champions jumped 4 spots to become one of the top 10 teams globally. With its 8-point position in the latest ranking, the Tigress become the first African team, men or women, to break into the top 10 of the FIBA World Rankings. The historical rise of the team in the world ranking could be linked to its dazzling performance at the Paris Olympics. The Tigress defeated both Australia and Canada in the group stage to become first African team to compete in the quarterfinals at the Olympics. With a sports story, we wrap up this edition of News on Enyimba TV at this time. But before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. Geometric promises to resolve gas constraint to turbine issue within a month. Federal government gives businesses 1 month deadline to reduce prices. Federal government slams no work, no pay on striking resident doctors. That's our package of news for now. Please join us for more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Thank you for watching. On behalf of the production team, my name is Mary Ihejirika. Do have yourself a wonderful day.